All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Vincent Burke, and you're joining us for today's session on Feed Your Curiosity. I just want to remind everyone that this is our first fall schedule session, so we will be having another one not in 1 week, but in 2 weeks is when our next schedule or our next scheduled session will be on. So for this particular episode, we're going to be having the president of the Colorado Springs Rising Professionals, Zach Barker, on, and we're going to be asking him a couple of questions here in a couple of minutes once he joins the session. There he is, and we're going to bring him on. Hi, Zach. How's it going?
Hey, how are you?
Oh, I'm very, very good. Thank you.
Trying to figure out my camera situation. Is that sideways?
Yep, that's sideways.
All right.
We're doing the same thing over here, Zoom and stuff, so it's totally fine.
We'll ride with this. We'll be okay here.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that looks great. So, Zach, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the position of president?
Yeah, sure. So sound is good as well? Is that?
Yes, sir. Yeah, on our end.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure everyone can hear. So kind of an interesting story. I moved here about 2.5 years ago from Lafayette, Louisiana, which is way down in the sweaty part of Louisiana, and joined the group. The current president at the time was Jeremy Weimer, who brought me in, said, hey, man, if you know anything about running groups like this, we'd love to have you. And I volunteered to be a committee member, ended up being a board member. And then our president-elect got hired by Twitter. Good for him.
Wow. Yeah, really.
Was essentially required to move to the North Denver, South Boulder area. And there was a vacancy. And I said, look, I was president of a group in the group in Louisiana, and I grew up in Nashville. I was the president of that group. And I just said, if there's the opportunity and we need the help, I've done this before. It doesn't mean that I'll be good at it, but at least I've been down the path. And they were kind enough to elect me. And then, a year later, COVID hit, and I am fully unprepared for COVID, and we're just doing the best we can. So
yeah, exactly.
Even in my third cycle of running a group like this, I'm still learning probably more than anybody else who's around. So
right, yeah,
great. It's great.
Fantastic. Yeah, I can't sing the praise of Nashville enough. I lived in Clarksville for a little while. So
yeah.
I'm a big fan of that area. So could you tell us a little bit about what a rising professional is and how someone could become a member?
Sure. I think, and I apologize as I'm looking around here, making sure that things aren't falling apart. Yeah, I think one of the interesting things is the concept of rising professional. One of the things that we did that was unique, sorry, you can see my light ring there. One of the things that we did that was unique is that we didn't focus on age specificity when it came to being a member in this group. So a lot of cities have young professional groups and they're age restricted, 35, 40, 45, whatever the case may be. The challenge is, though, is when you live in a community like Colorado Springs, where so many of us are transplants from somewhere else, putting an age restriction really is almost prohibitive to making sure that the city functions well.
Right.
So a rising professional really is anyone who is a professional and has professional capabilities. And when I say professional, we've had military personnel ask us, they say, well, look, I don't have a 4-year degree, I'm not a banker. Yeah, but you're a professional military serviceman or servicewoman. You know things that nobody else will know.
Right.
I have a very good friend. She's a stay-at-home mom, and she struggles. She said, well, I'm not really a professional. I disagree. You are one of the people who has the greatest minds for what an individual who's staying at home wants from their community. So
I think we're having a hard time on your end now.
Okay, hold on.
There we go.
Let's do something else. Hold on.
That was great. There we go.
Let's try. You gotta love doing things live, right? Because it just creates all kinds. Is it better now?
Yes, that's much better.
There you go. How about that? So Apple headphones. So the quick point is professional is relative to what you can offer to the community, right? So my very good friend who's a stay-at-home mom, she says, well, I'm not really a professional. She knows more about managing day-to-day commitments and understanding social obligations and really managing stress than a lot of us who just go to a kind of a 9-to-5 job, because her 9-to-5 job starts when they wake up and it doesn't end until they go to bed. And so having people who are non-traditional, not necessarily a 4-year educated banker, lawyer, doctor type person is exactly who we want. And I think one of the most unique things about the RPs is the desire to bring new people. So whether you're new, I have moved from somewhere else, or you're newly engaged in the sense that I've lived here for a few years, but I never really did much. This is that place where you can come and you can test ideas and meet new people and really kind of find out what the city is for you, because there's a lot of people who live here who just go like, yeah, it's cool, but I don't really know how to be a part of it. And our mission is just to get you from being lost to finding exactly where you belong.
Right. Well, that's fantastic. That's great. The next question kind of concerns this a little bit. I've heard about this mentorship program that's going on. Could you tell me a little bit, and our viewers a little bit about that?
Sure. So the mentorship program is kind of the gift and the curse, right, for us, is because it's very good and it's very effective, but it's relatively new. And so what we have found is that traditional mentorship, and I'm going to use age, but I don't want to make it age specific, but when you're 20-something, 30-something, and you're trying to find a mentor who's, late 50s, 60s, very well established, the challenge is when you're young, you have less money and more time. And as you get older, you have more money and less time. And so the recipe for that just doesn't make sense. The other piece is that as I've talked with older professionals, more established, there's always a hesitancy about making these long-term commitments to people they've just met. So while we do have traditional mentoring, the real kind of opportunity is peer mentoring. And to explain that is to say, like someone like myself. So I have a very, I don't say long because it makes me sound really old, but I have an extensive background in sales and marketing related to economic development. So it's city development, but it really is still sales and marketing. So if you're someone who says, look, I want to own a business and I really want to be good at sales and marketing, you can go find the most established senior professional at an ad firm in town, but you're going to have a hard time getting with them regularly, where I could have coffee with you once a week. And honestly, where you are to where you're trying to get to, I can probably get you there faster and more relatable. And so that's been the big piece with the peer mentorship is you don't need to go from 0 to 100. You need to get from 0 to 10.
Right.
You got to hit 10 before you can hit 100. So let's get you kind of warmed up, prepped up, getting a good basis understanding, have you thinking in a sense of, I know where I want to go next. So when you have that conversation with that established senior mentor, you know exactly what you're asking for, what you're offering, what you're expecting of them, and it makes it easier for them to be involved.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. So at the beginning, we kind of talked about COVID a little bit. It's at the front of everyone's minds here. So I think our final question will be just kind of, about how has COVID impacted the organization and what's being done to create value for customers in this sort of presence?
Oh man, like if someone really smart could solve COVID tomorrow, like they're gonna be rich, but I will come over and I will give them a hug and kiss them on the mouth. And I don't it does not matter. I don't care how old, young, male, female, whatever. You can be my dog. Let's go. Cause this has got to end at some point. So, all humor aside, it's been tough. And, for us, we are a relationship-based organization. While it's community founded, it's really rooted in the idea of relationship. And so the inability to go out and meet people and shake hands and converse and create that kind of emotional interaction has been very challenging. And so for us, we've made a very strong dedication to online programming that is about connectivity. While online programming is, all the rave right now, ours is around empowering members. So it's not the board, it's not the president, it's the member. The general member should be the most important person. So it's members bringing their ideas on how to connect communities. So we have a happy hour series where one of our members interviews restaurateurs and bar owners because that's what she likes. Right. And it's great because you wouldn't know her and you wouldn't know them, but that connectivity and their willingness to be accessible, to say, here's my email, here's my IG account, hit me up, I'm glad to chat with you, makes it to where you can kind of connect in a good fashion. Our very own UCCS downtown director, Stephanie Adams, runs trivia, which is absolutely fantastic. We have a new community conversation series we just launched today. Dr. Stephanie Rose Spalding is our first interviewee. And so it's a chance for you to kind of meet people that you might not regularly meet, but are really important in the community. Even if you're like someone like me, I don't work necessarily in the city. My clients are out of town, and I'm not necessarily important, but you know, I'm connected to this big group. And if you never have a chance to meet, then you never involved in something like that. And so that's really the premise behind it all, is how do you connect people and build relationship when you can't go see people? Because for me, it's that my superpower. My superpower is charming you in person. It is much harder across a Zoom connection. So yeah. And if I can go buy you a drink or any coffee or a beer, they're both stimulants in their own right. I realize that alcohol is a depressant, but you know, the thing about sharing a meal or sharing a drink with people creates a bond. And you know, now even though I can meet you on Zoom and try to charm you, I still can't use my power of liquid purchasing to really connect the dots. And we have a lot of members who that's their strength. And for a lot of us who are trying to figure out COVID, that's been the challenge, is that relationship building is our power, and we've been our superpower has been stolen from us, at least in the interim. So hopefully not much longer.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully the kryptonite will be removed. And
that's right. That's right.
That's awesome.
I know there's somebody really smart at UCCS who's in the chemistry department. Just start mixing stuff together. Come on, let's go. Someone can figure this out.
Yeah, at the chemistry department.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. Well, do you have any final thoughts for any of our viewers, students, alumni?
You know, I think one of the biggest things, maybe misnomer, is that students, especially students, so I think we probably have a lot of alumnus who are either members or are inquisitive about becoming members. But I think my call to action would be to students is it's easy to kind of get lost in the bubble of you're pursuing your degree, right? And you kind of say like, well, I'll worry about those things when I graduate.
Right.
But the reality is that you have such a huge opportunity right now, because just as established professionals look to that rising generation and go like, wow, it's really great that you're here and engaged and involved and think of all the things we can do together. That kind of rising talent, young professional is looking at students the same way and saying, I realize that we may not have the same experiences, but you're going to have innovative thoughts and ideas and a different perspective that really can add tremendous value. And if you do that when you're in your college days, you know, I know there's older students, but when you do that in your college days, what you're doing is you're building a community of individuals who really can help support you and will know your quality and your character before you graduate. And so if you struggle to find a job, your network will be huge. If you struggle emotionally, just working through studies, and they're like, I've struggled a lot, you have people who've been there and you can lean on them. And so I highly encourage students, like, don't wait, get involved now. And one of the things that we did, I also know that money can be tight during, you know, college. We created a scholarship program just for that. So you apply for the scholarship. We haven't turned anybody down yet.
That's great.
So apply. We'll probably underwrite this thing for you, but just get involved and become a part of your community. Because while you may even be thinking as well, like, as soon as I'm done, I'm leaving. I grew up in Nashville. I went to college in Nashville, and I said the same thing. And I lived in Nashville for 15 years after I graduated. So you might mess around and end up here for a while. You might as well make as many friends as you can now.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Zach. We really appreciate having you on, telling us about your dynamic organization during this. And we'll hopefully have you on again. I'm sure that people have other questions, and this was great. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I would say this. If anybody does have questions, I know I'm probably not supposed to plug, but just email hello@csrisingprofessionals.org. It goes to myself and other board members, but we'll make sure to get right back to you. And there are no dumb questions. The only dumb question is not asking it. So,
that's great.
And I'm happy to be on anytime you guys want. This is fantastic. I love it.
Thanks, Zach. We
awesome.
really appreciate it.
Absolutely. You guys are doing a fantastic job. And for anybody watching, go check out that downtown space. That is a treasure in this community. And if you are not looking at things like that, you are really missing the trees that are in front of the forest there. So
definitely. We really, really appreciated that. Thank you, Zach.
My pleasure. You got it. Awesome. Y'all stay safe, stay well. Everybody at home, do smart things, and let's get out of this.
Bye, Zach. Thank you.
All right. See ya.
All right, that was Zach Barker, president of the Colorado Springs Rising Professionals. And at the end of the episode, we really appreciate all of you watching and just sort of joining us with these. Again, as I said at the beginning, this is the beginning of our a bi-weekly session. So we just wanted to let you know. And if you could go like our social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you find us, that'd be absolutely fantastic. For some of the topics that are upcoming for the fall, I'd like to tell you about. We have sort of interviews with members of the downtown businesses. We have some alumni that are going to be coming on, and even a virtual tour possibly with a couple of museums. So if you yourself have any ideas, please feel free to email us at downtown@uccs.edu. That's again, downtown@uccs.edu. We'd really appreciate it. And that's all the time we have for today. And we're excited to see you all next time. Bye.